Forrest Gump, you won't believe how a quiet guy on a park bench rewrote Hollywood. What looked like a simple tale about an Alabama kid turned into a cultural earthquake. Back in 1994, Robert Zemeckis released a film that made audiences laugh, cry, and rethink what movies could do. You know the title, Forrest Gump, but the way it was built? That's the part most folks never see. Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on the choices, gambles, and happy accidents that turned a gentle story into a legend. Let's start at that bench. The most quoted moment, "Life is like a box of chocolates," wasn't shot on a backlot. The crew set a plain wooden bench in Savannah's Chippewa Square, surrounded by real trees, real brick paths, and real life. That decision matters. When Tom Hanks sits there, telling strangers his story while buses hiss and people stroll by, it feels like your town square, ordinary, lived in, true. The bench got so famous that it was moved to the local history museum for safekeeping. But on screen, it lives on as the place where Americana meets destiny. From Georgia's quiet charm to the chaos of war, Forrest's Vietnam. Surprise, those jungles weren't in Asia, they were South Carolina. The team shot in Hunting Island State Park and on the Ocean Creek Golf Course at Fripp Island. Sounds funny, war on a golf course, but wide fairways, marsh, and tall grass gave the camera what it needed. Add smoke, mud, landing craft, and you've got a convincing battlefield without flying halfway across the world. It wasn't just thrifty, it helped the actors slog through the elements so the scenes feel sweaty, heavy, and real. Then there's football, the first time the world notices Forrest's speed. Stadiums in the South stood in for those 1,950 seconds games, right down to period uniforms and roaring crowds. But Forrest doesn't just sprint for touchdowns, he runs straight into American mythology. That cross-country run deserts, highways, mountains, was stitched from shots all over the states, so it looks like one unbroken, stubborn journey. And here's the secret. Not every long-shot runner you see is Tom Hanks. For the far-off angles, the film often used Jim Hanks, his younger brother. Close-ups? That's Tom's face and soul. Wide shots? Jim pounds the pavement so production can move faster and protect Tom's energy for the acting that glues your heart to the screen. Together, the Hanks brothers sell the idea that one man just kept going. Speaking of going, how about ping pong at superhuman speed? In real life, a table tennis ball is tiny, fast, and almost impossible for early 90 seconds cameras to track cleanly. The solution was genius. Tom Hanks learned the footwork, posture, and swing, but there was no ball on set. Zero. The VFX team animated the ball later, matching every hit to Tom's rhythm, while the sound crew snapped in those razor-sharp talk-talk bounces. It's invisible movie magic. Choreography in front of the lens, wizardry behind it. The film's secret weapon might be how it looks across time. The 1,950 seconds glow warm and soft, like a faded family photo. The 1,960 seconds sharpen. The contrast kicks up. The world feels louder. The 1,970 seconds lean earth-toned and grainy, echoing the news footage of the day. Then the movie goes one step further. It blends Tom Hanks into archival clips with presidents and rallies, matching grain, contrast, and lighting so precisely that Forrest slides into history like he always belonged there. You don't watch time pass, you feel it. But none of that lands without the voice, the way Forrest speaks. Here's the twist. The accent didn't start with Tom. It began with the child actor who plays young Forrest, Michael Connor Humphreys, a Mississippi kid with no Hollywood training and a natural Southern drawl. Instead of making the boy copy him, Tom Hanks flipped the process. He studied Michael's vowels, pacing, and pauses until the adult Forrest sounded like the boy grown up. That choice keeps the character seamless, tender, and utterly sincere. It's why lines stick in your head, not just as words, but as music. Of course, some illusions are physical. Lieutenant Dan's missing legs, early 90 seconds, VFX still feels like sorcery here. Gary Sinise wore tight blue fabric on his lower legs. Digital artists removed everything in blue, leaving convincing stumps, realistic folds in pants, and believable weight shifts. All the tech in the world wouldn't matter if the performance didn't hit you in the chest. Though, and Sinise delivers raw pain, bitter humor, and, eventually, grace. That arc from fury to purpose is one reason veterans embraced him long after the credits rolled. And Bubba? One look you never forget. The actor is Mykelti Williamson, and that famous lower lip was a daily prosthetic. It changed his speech, his eating, the whole physicality. He committed anyway, and nailed it so completely that casting directors later struggled to see him as anybody but Bubba. That's the strange tax of an unforgettable character. You live forever in people's minds, sometimes too well. Now, let's talk brass tacks risk. Instead of demanding a mountain of upfront cash, Tom Hanks took a back-end deal, less money now, a slice of profits later. Risky? Absolutely. The movie was a weird blend of romance, war story, satire, and fable. But he believed the heart of it would connect. You know how that turned out. Box office thunder, 6 Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Director for Robert Zemeckis, and Best Actor for Hanks, his second in a row. The gamble didn't just pay, it became Hollywood legend. There's one more trick worth savoring. Early on, young Forrest meets a polite boarder strumming a guitar, Elvis Presley. Elvis died in 1977, long before any of this was shot. So the team filmed an impersonator, then used early digital face replacement to blend Elvis's features into the scene, complete with those famous hips. It's a quick beat, but it says everything about the movie's playful thesis. What if an ordinary life keeps brushing against extraordinary moments? And that's the quiet superpower here. Forrest's world is packed with clever effects, bold editorial moves, and production sleight of hand. Yet it never feels like a tech demo. It feels human. The bench is a bench. The jungles are muddy. The football lights burn bright. The ping pong snaps clean. The decades roll by with texture and taste. The voice is gentle. The man is kind. And the story somehow makes space for all of us. Now, what sticks with you most? The run that never ends? The box of chocolates? Lieutenant Dan on the mast? Howling at a storm? Or maybe it's the simple idea that kindness and persistence can carry a person farther than anyone expects. If this breakdown gave you a new angle on a classic, drop your favorite moment in the comments and tell me why it hits you. Want more deep dives into the untold craft behind iconic films? Tap like, hit subscribe, and share this with the friend who still quotes Forrest in everyday life. After all, stories like this remind us, even the quietest voices can echo forever.